that I think the reason people talk about Bryan as being an advanced character, and he isn't, he definitely isn't, is the fact that you have the taunt jet upper, and the taunt jet upper is an extremely difficult technique to pull off. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is extremely difficult to do. Thing is, right, it's difficult enough to do that it's not a viable strategy. And everything else is literally press win buttons. Just press win buttons. Never, have any, never be punishable, never be unsafe, never even be at disadvantage. Go ka, bully your opponent into the corner, and win infinitely and forever.
I've been saying this about Bryan since forever. Finally someone brings up how brain-dead monkey this character is.
And I do want to stress that I know a lot of people hate Bryan, and it's because you encounter him all the time. That's why a lot of people hate Kazuya. I just know it. Kazuya gets a lot of flack, and I know. It's because he's the second most popular. Bryan is the third most popular. So you just have an emotional connection to the character. You encounter him so often, and you lose. And you win some, but you see him so much that you get annoyed. It's just a character you see all the time. That's why you get annoyed.
That is complete nonsense. I get annoyed by these characters because they are annoying, not because they are popular. It's as simple as that.
It's super difficult. If you just hold back or jab a lot, most Bryans don't know what to do.
Lol. That is such an oversimplification and just more nonsense. You really think Bryans just shit themselves if you jab a lot? This isn't a 2D game, bro. This is not Street Fighter. If you jab a lot, they can just sidestep and...
One of these buggers will bend you fucking over and take a walk up your strata chocolata while he's sucking the...
And again, like, the taunt is insanely hard. It's like one of the hardest things in this game to use properly.
Man, who gives a shit about that? There's maybe like 1 or 2 Bryans online who care about taunt jet upper. One difficult move doesn't stop the hundreds and hundreds of Bryan players online from being carried by this OP monkey character.
A simple few things in mind when you play against Bryan and you beat the majority of Bryan players. Again, lab the snake edge. Make sure you block that. Play on 5 bars, or at the very least a 4 bar. Jab check him, and most Bryans fall apart.
Bro, are you smoking crack? If that's all it took to beat Bryan, then nobody would use this character.
There is no intrinsic quality whatsoever to the character design of Bryan. This is pretty much the worst character design in the history of all video games.
I agree. He's an idiotic character in pretty much every way. Just look at this idiot's face.
I talk about this in the video. It's how I introduced Bryan. This beautiful contrast in his visual design and in his gameplay. And his visual design is this crazy brute that doesn't even talk. He just goes, he's crazy. He just hits stuff, overly aggressive. He's a dumb brute. Get some. But then when you look at it, you contrast that with his gameplay, and you have this, honestly, galaxy brain, lab coat, physicist. Okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's like they couldn't be more diametrically opposed to each other.
You're exaggerating a lot. Bryan is a dumb brute, and plays just like one. There's not much thinking going on when all his stuff is mostly no risk high reward. I think you have a very delusional take on this character. He may be difficult in higher level tournaments, but online it's a completely different story. There's a good reason why his character usage is so high, and it's not because people love his retarded personality. I agree with everything Frame Whisperer says, even though he uses Eliza, the stupid dive kick 2D bitch, which is no better than Bryan.